Hello everybody, I am Fuzzy Face, welcome back. We're back today with the 11th race of the season. We're heading to Singapore. Last time out in Italy, in Milan, we had a 1-2 finish. Pierre Gasly winning the race. Sebastian Vettel came second. It was a toss-up between us and the Ford Haas team. Luckily, Verstappen fell behind the Mercedes of Leclerc, couldn't challenge us. Newgarden, I think he's rated just over a 4-star driver, so even though he was in that really quick Ford Haas, he couldn't keep pace with Gasly or Vettel. We had a 1-2 finish, which was absolutely outstanding for us. Puts us a little bit closer to Mercedes, who are leading the Constructors' Championship. Vettel picked up a few points over Leclerc as well, so he's a little bit closer as well, 40 points behind Leclerc in the drivers' standings. We don't know if we're going to get if we're going to retain our crown. We won the Constructors and the Drivers' Championship last year. It's going to be a tough ask to do that because we don't have any new parts going into the car this time out because we're still working on this engine. It's a massive build, is this engine. It's not even going to be ready for Japan, I don't think, which is in 14 days. No, definitely not. But it will be ready for Brazil, where the engine is crucial, and then Phoenix, where the engine is crucial as well. So once this engine is done, it is quite a big upgrade. We've already got a pretty strong engine as it is. So once this is done, we can then concentrate on maybe the gearbox and the brakes, maybe a build of each of those before the end of the season. But anyway, we'll just go down what the other cars, the other teams have done. Mercedes have got a new gearbox. Red Bull have got a new engine, plus a slight upgrade to their brakes. Ferrari, another new engine for them. Gearbox for Williams, a gearbox for McLaren. Aston Martin and AlphaTauri have got a new braking systems. Renault have got a new rear wing. Alfa Romeo have got a new gearbox. And Prema have got a new gearbox. So if we just have a quick look at where we are sat at the moment, we're still sat second overall. Aston Martin, if you remember back to the last episode, they massively increased their rear wing. Put them first overall. That car is weak in a few areas, although they've increased a few of those between this and the last race. So we might see a bit of an increased performance for them. We are still in a pretty good position. Singapore, the brakes, the gearbox and the front wing are crucial. The brakes are below average, but the front wing and brakes were above average. I mean, we're like pretty much near the top of the order with those. Not a lot of standouts through all of these parts, so it could be quite a toss-up who's going to be quickest. I mean, Ferrari have got a pretty good front wing and brake system like we have, but then fall off with the gearbox like we do, although they're a bit higher up. So Ferrari, who have been struggling this season, could be in for a pretty decent race. Ricciardo and Hamilton are sat in 13th and 14th. Only one podium between them, and that was in the first race of the season where Ricciardo got into second, but since then his form has been absolutely terrible, only picking up points in Portugal and in Belgium. But we might see a decent race. Hopefully we're going to see a decent race. We do have another sponsorship slot open here. We've got Verizon, Aston Martin, obviously we can't take that one, and we've got FX Pro. I mean, 250,000 between these two. That is fixed per race. We're going to go with FX Pro because they are a McLaren sponsor. We'll just continue our theme of taking McLaren sponsors here. Can't do anything about it, but yeah, that is pretty much all we've got to go through before the race this time. We're going to go with a better tomorrow because I don't think we're going to get first here. Not a lot of sponsorship money available anyway, but anyway, we'll go with the 8 and 7 as we usually do. No real incentive to go with anything other. It looks like it's going to be heavy rain in qualifying, so we're possibly going to end up with a grid that is a bit all over the place, as we know, in the rain. But anyway, we're going to jump into practice right now, which we're going to skip over, and then we'll be back in a second to see how qualifying goes here in Singapore. It is a street circuit, so hopefully we are going to see some good form here, but we'll see how things go. So practice is over. Gasly looking mightily quick. Nicky de Vries looking quick in a Williams as well. Vettel up there as well. But we could have been on for maybe our first pole position of the season. I don't know if that's going to happen here. Obviously, this session is going to get disrupted by the rain. We're not going to look at the weather because the AI doesn't. We're just going to run as we normally would in qualifying because that's how we take things. We'll go out with what the weather says on track at that moment. We're pretty much there with the setups as well. I just want to maybe go back. No, we got to 97. We could. It does just need to move that way ever so slightly. We can make one change, whether that's going to get us a little bit higher on that, but that is a one change we're going to make to Gasly. We're just going to leave Vettel as he is. So let's get into qualifying here, and hopefully this rain stays away. I mean, instantly the weather out on track, the brightness, it gets a little bit darker, so we're going to get Gasly out, hopefully ahead of the Alpha, and then we'll get Vettel out as well. So hopefully we're going to get a dry run in here so the order is not thrown out, and we say that and the rain just starts straight away. Is it going to be... No, we've got one car out on track. No, we've got a few cars out on track on the Inters. They're going to be the quicker cars over this first part of the race, and the rain is getting really heavy here, so our times are going to be terrible on this first run. So hopefully the rain does go away for the end of the session and does not come back. Charles Leclerc is quickest. Gasly locks up and messes his lap up as well. Comes across the line about 3 tenths down. I think Vettel's going to be further back than that. No, he isn't. Vettel goes a little bit quicker. And yeah, because the rain is starting to ease off here. So these cars that are on the Inters should go into the lead here. It will be Verstappen who comes across, who is on pole position at the moment in that Ford house. So hopefully when we do our second run, this rain is going to stay away and not come back. We're going to get out with like 3 minutes 30 to run, which is where we do usually come out, sort of around. That's what the times that we run when it is wet in qualifying. And this rain is coming back. So do we go for the Inters here, or do we go for the dry? That is a question. So this is when we come out. There's rain on track, so we're going to have to go with Inters, aren't we? We're going to be massively out of order if things go absolutely... If things just go wrong here. I mean, most cars are out on these Inters now. This rain is staying pretty steady as well, so we've got a good chance of getting back up the order here. We've got cars all over the place here in just one massive long line. It looks like Gasly is going to get to the head of that field, so he should be on for a good lap here, managing to clear all that traffic. Look at all the traffic here going out as one. Vettel is already on his quick lap at the moment, so we should see improvement from both of these guys. I mean, the weather is easing off here, so the Inter should be alright. But that McLaren going quicker in front of us. Vettel sets a quickest second sector, so could we be on for a pole position here? Would be amazing if we could get it. I mean, the rain is almost stopped. Vettel comes across the line, goes up into first. More cars will be improving here, though, with the weather coming down. Yes, it is. Gasly doesn't go quicker than Vettel, though. We've got the 2 McLarens right up there. Ricciardo does have a chance here, although the rain has eased off pretty much, and this Inter has lost his effectiveness pretty much. So 4th and 6th, I'm not too... I am happy with that. I'll take that in the rain. We've got a Prema running right at the top of the order as well. The Ford Haas's have been caught out. They got out on a dry tyre, didn't work out for them. The 2 Aston Martins are down there, the 2 Williams are down there. Nick de Vries looked pretty quick in practice, couldn't turn that into pace here in qualifying. We've got a Red Bull. Alonso is up the order here as well. Alonso having a terrible season for Red Bull. That Red Bull not up to much this season. But anyway, there we go. That is qualifying over and done with. So let's get on to the race. It should be a dry for the race, which we can see. We'll just see what laps are here. It's 30 lap race. It is a really short pit stop here at Singapore because you do cut out one of the corners as well. It is going to have to be a 2 stop as well. So we're definitely going to be on the super soft to start since we're in the top 10. And yeah, we got the setup a tiny little bit better. It's still 97% with Gasly, but he will be starting on these super softs as well. So we're going to have to push one of the cars more aggressively than the other because one of them's got to come in before the other one. And we're going to be on 2 sets of super softs throughout this race and then 1 set of the softs. It is a definite 2-stop race, but we've got Schwartzman on the front row of the grid here. But anyway, we'll go down the grid for the 2023 Singapore Grand Prix. We've got Sainz on pole, Schwartzman is 2nd, Lando Norris is 3rd, then Vettel for us is 4th, Leclerc 5th, then behind Vettel is 6th, right behind him on the grid. 7th for Daniel Ricciardo in the Ferrari, hopefully he can pick up some points here. 8th for Fernando Alonso, 9th for Russell, 10th for Hamilton. Both Mercedes sort of behind us. Leclerc is splitting our cars, but hopefully we can stay ahead of Mercedes here and pick up points on them. Sergio Perez will start from 11th, Giovinazzi in the Prema will start from 12th, Magnussen in the Aston Martin 13th, his teammate just behind him in 14th, Lance Stroll, Max Verstappen 15th, 16th for Valtteri Bottas in the Alfa Romeo and the other Ford Haas right down there in 17th as well, 18th for Yuri Vips in the Red Bull, Ocon in the Renault is 19th, Hulkenberg 20th in a Williams, Tsunoda in an AlphaTauri 21st, 22nd for Mick Schumacher, and then bringing up the rear we've got Nick de Vries in the Williams and Alexander Albon in the AlphaTauri, so hopefully we can have a good start here. It's going to be a fully dry race. We'll try turn the camera enough so we can see the front of the order as well. The McLaren's off. Schwartzman pretty slow off the line, which slows Vettel down. Leclerc gets a pretty good launch as well, right on the back of Lando Norris here. Looks like Leclerc might get the run here on Lando Norris. Vettel has fallen to 5th and Gasly just falling down the order here, caught between a lot of cars. And I think that is Daniel Ricciardo, that is Lewis Hamilton. As Ricciardo picked up places here, Ricciardo has got himself up into 4th place. We're just going to push all out here on this tyre. Obviously, We're just going to have to play it by ear. We don't really want to come out into traffic when we do our first pit stop, but I think because the pit stop is pretty short, I mean, it's a really long pit lane, but you do cut out 2 slow corners, so maybe we're in the pits for maybe 10 seconds or so. If we can get sort of a 10-second gap at some point, that is when we're going to think about getting into the pits. Meanwhile, Gasly has got himself up into 8th place now. It's a little bit strange how this track is a 1 minute 28 around it in qualifying. It's 30 laps, whereas Milan is 1:22 around it in qualifying, and that's 21 laps. It doesn't seem like the extra 6 seconds. I don't know why the Milan race is so short in terms of laps, but anyway, here we go with Singapore. It looks like Gasly is now getting past Russell. We'll get past Giovinazzi here, hopefully, and we can maybe start thinking about turning him down if we can go ahead and get past that McLaren. Vettel, meanwhile, has managed to get past Daniel Ricciardo here. Is the weather pretty hot here? It is, and it looks like we've had a collision further down the order, so we're going to try cool down briefly here. We're going to keep pushing on the tyres with Gasly, see if we can get close to Lando Norris. We just have to cool down with the fuel usage at the moment, and these tyres just aren't cooling down, are they? I mean, tyre wear is so high here, and the temperature is so hot as well. Gasly's still chasing Norris, doesn't look like we're going to be able to get that move done. And Vettel is just cooling down here. I mean, it is Leclerc in front of us. We should be quicker than that Mercedes, theoretically, but we're going to have to get back up into neutral here and stay away from Daniel Ricciardo, because Ricciardo is going to start pressuring us pretty soon. And we're going to be in a gap, though. If we get pushing, we could be in a pretty good gap. It says we were in 3rd at the moment. If we get onto another super soft, it says we would come out into 7th place. It's saying we're only going to lose like 4 seconds through the pit stop. So maybe we should just try and get off this tyre. I'm guessing Gasly's locked up a few times, and that's why he's gone through the tyre so much. I don't think he has locked up. Or maybe that's just the fact that we've pushed so long on this first set of super softs. We're just going to push it to the absolute limit. We're not even going to try recover this tyre. We're just going to try get through it and off it as quick as possible. Maybe do a long stint in the middle on the softs, or do we need to go back for the super softs to try clear some traffic? I think we'll try take the longest stint in the middle, just so we know if we might have to go soft with the weather being so hot here, as Vettel looks like he is going to get past Leclerc here, although we're going to be on the outside line through these 2 corners. But Vettel carries more speed, forces Leclerc over the curb, gets a better run out of turn 2. And Vettel now up into 2nd place. I'm going to have to think about getting Gasly into the pits this lap, because these tyres are going to go off. So he's going to go onto the softs. And yeah, we do have to look after this soft for this next stint, but hopefully we can clear a few cars. We can see what sort of time we come out. I mean, we're 8 seconds behind the lead heading into the pits. Where would we be after a pit stop? Only a few more corners to go to find out. 8.3, 8.7, 8.7 on pit entry. So Gasly will be in. Hopefully we're not in too much traffic. It looks like we're going to have a little bit of a gap here to feed back into. So 8.7 up to 16. So it's about 7 seconds through the pits, which isn't too bad, but we do have to look after this tyre now. But we do have to clear a little bit of traffic, so we're going to have to push a little bit. We don't want to push too much because we don't want to go through this tyre too quickly, but if we can get past the Red Bull Vieri Vips here, and then we can just switch back into neutral, maybe even into conserve, because we need to go a little bit further on this time. We've got one more lap here with Vettel. Vettel should get back out into about 6th place here after a pit stop. Hopefully we've gone long enough here. And we're going to go for the middle stint on the soft tyre. Hopefully we've got enough to get all the way around on this lap. These should go off around about 15%. It looks like we should be able to do that, although we are overheated here. And we're trying to chase down Carlos Sainz in front of us. They're going a little bit longer than we are because we've absolutely just pushed this super soft tyre into oblivion. It looks like we're going to get around before these tyres do go off though. And Vettel will be into the pits. Hopefully we're in clear air here as well. And a mistake, 4 seconds on the pit stop. Vettel gets just out in front of his teammate here. And we're going to push a little bit as well with Vettel. We're going to get back up into neutral with Gasly. It's just not what you needed at all, was it? So I guess that's a race win out of the window now. But Sainz currently trundling along in 1st place here. I just can't believe we had a mistake through the pits there and the front runners are going to go for quite a while here. Could we get an undercut going? It doesn't look like this soft tyre is that much quicker than the super soft, even though they're fresher tyres, and we're getting held up by Fernando Alonso at the moment, which is not great for our race. All these cars should start to come into the pits pretty soon. We're going to have to switch back to conserve here. It doesn't look like we're going to clear these cars, and most of them will be coming into the pits as well. And Sainz as well. His tyres are pretty much going off here as he comes into the pits. We'll see how much time Vettel has actually lost through getting stuck in a little bit of traffic as Leclerc goes into the lead, and Sainz is so much further up the road. He's picked up about 6 seconds. Yeah, 6 seconds through that pit stop, which is not great for us. Leclerc's possibly going to get past us as well as we just try to cool down a tiny little bit. We do need to get to the point that we can get back onto that super soft to finish the race. I mean, we did 8 laps with Vettel, only 6 with Pierre Gasly. I mean, we just absolutely ran through that tyre. And we're just going to trundle along now on this soft tyre and get as far as we can on it before switching back to a super soft to finish the race on. Sainz, meanwhile, is on a super soft. I'm guessing the AI with a few of the cars is going to go super soft. Gamey from the AI as usual, but we're up into 4th and 5th now. Russell still has to pit. Leclerc has to pit as well. Leclerc is staying out for another lap. He's done a really good job of looking after those super softs. They haven't pushed much at all on that super soft. He's done 13 laps, so wouldn't stop could be on the cards for that Mercedes if they continue to do the same. But meanwhile, we're back up into 3rd and 4th here. We're in front of one of the Mercedes, which is good. I don't think we're going to be able to stay in front of Leclerc here due to that mistake through the pit stop. We lost about 3 seconds, which put us in a lot of traffic with Vettel, which has ultimately almost cost us this race now. But we can go into high mode with both of these cars now as we come around and about to enter lap 14. As Leclerc is still out here. Leclerc is still out, but Sainz is right on the back of him. But I'm guessing this Mercedes is looking to maybe try and secure a podium here, maybe get ahead of Vettel, although he's losing time now. Is his super soft gone out? Have Mercedes kept him out a lap too long? They have. He's 15%. This tyre is going to go off just about now as we see that McLaren fly past him. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2, and that is George Russell that has crashed. And that is amazing for us because that is one Mercedes here not scoring points. Leclerc is slowing down because his tyres have gone. They kept him out a lap too long. I don't know why they kept him out so long on that super soft. No one else has done the sort of stint that Leclerc has done. But that has allowed Vettel back into 2nd. Gasly possibly won't get 3rd place here, but we can push with him and try and get him ahead of Leclerc here because we can go back onto another soft tyre. So should we just... I mean, we've got no chance of cooling these tyres down, so we might as well push as Nick De Vries sets the quickest lap of the race. Ricciardo is still up in the points here as well for Ferrari, so not too bad of a race for him. Hamilton, though, is outside the points. The Aston Martin, which does have the best car at the moment, we've got Stroll running in last place in the Aston Martin, which is rated the best overall. Magnussen is currently in 10th. Leclerc has gone for the soft. Will that Mercedes try push for a one-stop strategy? Is that what they were attempting to do here? It seems like that could be possible. One of the only teams that could attempt a one-stop strategy if Leclerc looks after those tyres. I mean, he's pushing a little bit more than he was before. Maybe that's because we're putting him under a little bit of pressure and sort of wrecking that Mercedes strategy, which we sort of need to do. But these softs, I think, can go to 10%, so we can go another lap or two with Gasly as well. He is going to have to go for another soft tyre. And he hasn't got much out of this one at all. But here, I'll just see what his tyre wear is at the end of this stint, as we do manage to get past Charles Leclerc here. So we do have track position now. If we can get one more lap out of this tyre, hopefully it doesn't go off at 15%. I'm not quite sure what the breakdown is for all of these at the moment now, since we switched up what the database was like with the tyre wear rates. I mean, we're getting to 10% now, aren't we? We're easily going to go off this tyre. Yeah, Gasly is going to slow down here. Hopefully we're going to be somewhere around Leclerc when we get into the pits, because we should be quicker. We've lost a little bit of time there. Hopefully there's going to be no mistakes here. We went a lap too long with Gasly, just like Mercedes did. A little bit of clear air, and we do have to conserve on this tyre, which is the problem. And Vettel does need to get into the pits this lap as well. I don't think he's close enough to get onto a pair of supers. Just the weather is so hot here in Singapore. It's nearly impossible to keep these tyres cool. So maybe to think that we get through to the end of the race, we're just going to have to run in conserve till the end of the race here. I mean, we're out in front of Norris, who has to pit again. It's just all on whether Leclerc does have to pit against Sainz, who's going to run away with this for the easy victory for McLaren, it seems like. Meanwhile, it's all about just keeping this tyre pretty cool here. We're not really racing this McLaren because Norris does have to pit. Giovinazzi has to pit as well. Gasly could still be on for third or fourth place here, hopefully. I mean, even in conserve mode, you keep him right on the optimum temperature. We've got a yellow flag as well. Who has crashed this time? That is Yuri Vips in a Red Bull that has crashed out this time. Sent it into the barricades down there. But is Leclerc going to get to the end of the race here? It looks like that is what Mercedes are going to try and push to do. Whether we can come back at them towards the end of the race, that's what they do, because their soft tyre will be more used than ours at the end of the race. If we can just hold on and get to a point that we know we're going to finish this race for definite on this tyre. We don't actually want to just blow through it and then be forced into a pit stop with a few laps remaining. If we just run in conserve mode here, which is maybe what we should have done on that middle stint and just kept things going, but we tried to push for track position, especially with Pierre Gasly. Didn't work out because we went that one lap too long, but hopefully we're going to get back up towards the top of the order here. I mean, is Vettel just a little bit slower than Leclerc? About over a second slower at the moment than Charles Leclerc. Leclerc, is he just going for it? Does he even have to pit? Maybe, maybe not, but if we can keep to third and fourth, that would be amazing for us. I mean, our car is not totally suited to this track. I mean, Ferrari's a little bit more suited to this track, but Ricciardo is 8th and Hamilton is 14th. They're not putting up much of a fight at all during this race, which is a little bit strange, but Ferrari have been off the boil all season. We can get to pushing with Vettel for a little bit here as well. We'll switch to neutral, try warm these tyres up and tighten a little bit, because we just dropped below the line for absolute optimum temperatures. Daniel Ricciardo sets the quickest lap of the race. He's on super softs. Norris is on super softs as well, so he might get close towards Pierre Gasly by race end. It's just all on whether Leclerc does need to pit again here. And are we going to start picking up time now that we're... Oh, and we've got a safety car. We have a safety car as Hamilton has now crashed. We're going to get into the pits here. I mean, we've seen we can overtake cars. I mean, I think Vettel can get in and out of the pits in time. Is Gasly going to lose track position? Won't Gasly lose track position here? Is Leclerc going to choose to do a pit stop? No, he's not. Leclerc is staying out on track, so Vettel is going to come in. Should we take the risk with Gasly or not? We have to decide. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, we're going to leave Gasly out because he's going to lose track position to the cars behind him. Vettel should... Oh no, not another mistake. What the hell? At least we've kept track position over the cars behind. It's just Gasly that we do have to get past at the start here. At least we're going to be able to recover some fuel as well. So the safety car is heading to the garage here. We're going to just turn up a little bit with Gasly, but we're going to push all out with Vettel here because we do want Vettel to get past Gasly and give him a run at Charles Leclerc, because that is what we're going to go for, because Gasly is on the softs as well. So we do sort of need Vettel to get past here and then allow Vettel to have a go at Carlos Sainz, because Sainz is on those used super softs as well. So let's get Vettel past here, and Vettel can just have a run at the front of the order here, whereas we're just going to try and get a little bit of heat into these tyres for Pierre Gasly as well, and might as well go overtake mode as well for a short stretch. And we need to get Vettel close to Charles Leclerc. It looks like Carlos is off to the races as well. I mean, we should have the tyre wear just to push all out here as well. We might as well just go in full on attack mode, hadn't we? I think we can do that with Pierre Gasly as well. We just do need to keep an eye on the fuel to the end of the race. Are we going to be able to get past Charles Leclerc here? He's on a used soft tyre. I think we were one of the only teams. We were the only team to take advantage of the safety car. Possibly the only team with a gap in. But Gasly is getting pretty close here. Gasly is actually quicker at the moment. And Vettel has just totally run wide. Right. Brilliant. Brilliant, Vettel. Brilliant. Again, running wide when you're in. Absolutely brilliant. Almost crashes the car. And Gasly gets past. Gasly gets past Charles Leclerc here. After we let Vettel through. Vettel just ruins that opportunity altogether. Absolutely typical as we are now on to the final lap. I don't think Gasly is going to get close enough to Carlos Sainz here, and we do have to recover the fuel. We can just keep pushing the tyre all out. It doesn't look like Vettel's going to be able to recover either. Can he get past Norris here? Is what we need. Doesn't look like that is going to happen. The tyres overheating for Gasly, but he is going to get onto the podium here. Second place for Pierre Gasly. Carlos Sainz will come across the line to finish this race in first place. So just try to switch the camera angle. Gasly second, Leclerc will grab third, Norris fourth, Vettel will get fifth, Ricciardo sixth in the end. Seventh for Giovinazzi in the Prema, eighth for Alonso in the Red Bull, ninth for Schwartzman in the Prema as well, and Williams picking up points as well. Hamilton crashed out. We got the two Aston Martins outside the points, the two Renaults still outside the points as well, the two Ford Haas's right at the back of the grid, which is good for us. They are definitely not going to challenge for the title as well, so it's sort of going to be between us, McLaren and Mercedes towards the end of the season, because McLaren picked up more points. Mercedes dropped points because of Russell being, well, not being, but actually crashing. And there we go with the official results and points, and we get one car on the podium. Could have had a possibility of two, but Vettel ran wide. And Gasly was so much quicker on that soft tyre, wasn't he? At the end of the race. And Leclerc extends his lead over Sebastian Vettel because Vettel just ran wide again. As we saw, I think it was Cape Town. Yeah, it was the equivalent of Monaco back in South Africa. But Pierre Gasly picks up points as well. So still a few cars in with a chance. But Leclerc, unless he has a massive meltdown towards the end of the season, it looks like Leclerc has got this title wrapped up. We are now within 17 points of the Mercedes team. McLaren 32 points behind as well. It's between us three teams at the top, whereas Ford Haas are now slowly started to drop away with that terrible result with Verstappen and Newgarden getting nowhere near the top 10. Ferrari with 73 points this season, disappointing for them. Being beaten at the moment by their customer team Alfa Romeo. Red Bull disappointing. Renault 32 points. Aston Martin still struggling to pick up points even though they've got the best car overall, but as we discussed on a previous episode, they're struggling one or two parts and the rest of the car is just not up to scratch. Yeah, so we'll just finish with the interview. Podium for your team. I'll say that one. It increases marketability, keeps the chairman happy as well. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Yokohama, brakes, front wing and suspension. We're pretty decent in all those areas. Again, obviously we're not going to be introducing any new upgrades. It's only a short amount of time between this last race and this one, so maybe the AI isn't going to upgrade much either. So hopefully we're going to stick at this position where we're the second best overall car and continue our run of good form, because we need to keep going and chipping into this gap that Mercedes have got. We're starting to do it. We've got 5 races left: Japan, Brazil, USA, Doha, and then Germany to finish the season. Maybe it's going to go right down to that last race of the season, our home Grand Prix in Germany. But anyway, that is it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed. But until next time, I'll see you down the road in Japan for the Yokohama Grand Prix. But until that time, goodbye.